Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is it's the weekly, so it's created for the underpinning energy from the 19th to the 25th. So you guys will probably experience these energies maybe happening in the background or coupled with the cards that come out each day from this Sunday onward, right? So this applies to all signs, and it is a broad spectrum reading, so you have to figure out where it best fits in your life, if at all. And please check out the drop-down menu underneath the video. And there's all the information that you need to how to contact me via social media. If you want to book your own private reading, all of that information is in there. And also some things I want you to think about when utilizing the videos that I make. Okay, so let's get into this. Each card is going to represent for about a day or two of this week. Like I said, you may experience only one card. You might experience all, and then some other energies that I don't necessarily have in the reading, so just be open-minded. It is not solely set for those dates of the 19th through the 25th. You can use this reading whenever you see it. So if it's found its way to you at some other different time, that's okay. It's more about the message than the reading itself. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. What do the cards want us to know? Oh my gosh, so we've got the Ten of Swords. So this is a pretty intense image. I hate all of those swords in that dog, but I do love the hugging that's happening up here. But this is about endings and new beginnings. Tens generally represent, a cycle coming to an end collectively for everybody involved, right? But the Ten of Swords in particular, swords being that air element, it can be a defeat. It can be about, just being done, like need to throw in the towel. I can't do it anymore. That's sort of the tragedy of the Ten of Swords, like almost landing the mark. What I do like about the depiction of this is it feels like from endings come new beginnings. Like this would be the ending where this, dog is crying with the swords in his back. And I hate this image, to be honest. I mean, it's a beautiful image that MJ has created, but the swords in the back of the dog really kind of make me uncomfortable. But, and then we have this over here, sort of, this is like the new beginning, right? After maybe you say, an ending that was painful or sad, right? We get an opportunity here to sort of choose where we want to place our focus. Do we want to place our focus on the more positive new beginnings or on that of the past, the pain, the sadness, the worry, the distress of the past? Both have like valid information in them, right? And both are very emotionally, it feels to me both are very like important, right? But remembering kind of where our focus is I sort of feel like what this card is telling me, because it sort of feels like two split experiences. Do you see, like with the split of the clouds in the middle, it's like we can focus on the new beginnings and the new dawn, or we can focus on the past and what went wrong. But either way, we're still moving towards that newer chapter, that new set of thoughts, that new way of communicating, some new opportunity, ideally, hopefully, that will bring us joy and happiness and bring peace back into our hearts, right? So anybody that's been feeling any sort of pressure, heaviness, sadness, distress, we're hopefully getting ready to release that. That would be the essence of the number 10, right? Is to let that go, let it pass on, allow it to even, die in a way, right? Even if we've been defeated by a situation, which can very much be Ten of Swords energy, allow that defeat to just take place. Don't hold on too tightly. Don't dwell on sort of, to me, I would want to say, don't dwell on the sadness of the loss, whatever that loss may be, or however that loss may come. Allow it to sort of facilitate the new beginning or the new opportunity that is coming your way, because I definitely see that in the upper part of this card. Does that make sense? Like, all will hopefully be right again. And that's also sort of, we've been seeing justice a lot lately. That to me, this almost is giving you a little bit of justice vibes, where we have the equality of the good and the bad, or the light and the dark. So be aware what we choose to focus on is kind of the experience that we create for ourselves. and where we're placing that may be, where our thoughts are going might be important to pay attention to, especially at the early part of the week. Now let's look at the midweek card. So we have the Page of Swords. Again, air energy, thoughts, communication, things of that nature. The Page of Swords tends to be a little bit of the, sort of the investigator of the deck. He needs further information. He usually indicates that pages want to learn, right? Or they want to be taught. They have room to grow. There's new opportunities here. I like that after the 10, we get, the page is actually the next card after the 10. So this feels to me like a natural progression. You see how the path opens up behind him, and then there's the sun along the way through the forest? To me, that would indicate there is a new chapter coming. There is a turning point. There is a new beginning for us that should be positive. Will it take some work to get there? Yes. Will it take maybe learning a new way of perceiving things or looking at things? Probably, right? But that's the page's job. He likes to investigate. He likes to find out the answers for himself. He likes to assimilate his learning and creating sort of maybe new forms of, or new foundations of knowledge bases that allow him to continue on his journey. So paying close attention, communicating clearly, all of that would be indicative of these two cards in the early and midweek. And then the last card we have is the Nine of Wands. So Nine of Wands is about boundaries, having learned one's lessons. Nines to me are also about completions, but they're on a more personal level, right? So when we reach the level of the 9, we've kind of come to terms with whatever situation we're involved in and how we connect to it, what it's taught us. We're assimilating all of that knowledge. The 10 is when everything else assimilates itself, right? Or it's all understood, and then we're able to shut the chapter. Nine of Wands. Wands does feed this air energy in the previous two cards. Fire burns up air, and air feeds fire. So there's definitely a sort of a, what's the word, like symbiotic feel with these cards this week. Like everything should run smoothly or kind of make more sense. The Nine of Wands is about, to me, it's about, having learned our lessons, maybe through hard experiences, but we've learned them and we're aware of them, right? Does that make sense? They've not been in vain, the harder experiences. Wands is also that element of fire and the spirit. So to me, it's a learning or an awareness that comes at a much deeper level in a way, because it's not only just our mental level or our thoughts and our emotions, but this is the deep within our spirit. So ideally, whatever transformation we maybe experienced the week prior, because we were seeing some heavy transformative cards in the midweek, that transformation is still sort of, to me, what these cards are saying is it still sort of feels like it's finalizing itself out. We're still assimilating that knowledge. We're still becoming clear on our path of where we want to go, how we want to get there, what we're learning as we go, and we're open to it. The one thing I love about this card that she's done is this dog looks very happy. Generally, the Nine of Wands is a man that looks like he's been to a hard battle, and he's survived it, and he's certainly learned from it, but he's been, worn down a little bit. This dog, to me, actually feels happy, right? It feels like we understand maybe by week's end, oh, that might have been the reason why I needed to go through that, so that I can get to this place or to this understanding, this awareness, this sense of myself in my soul, right? Or in my spirit, because this is a Wands card. Let's look at the Oracle card. So we've got the Sacred Journey Markers, and this is card number 43, which is a 7, and it's again that card Burden. Where are we carrying anything that's too heavy, right? Where are we carrying anything that weighs heavy on our heart, especially with all this swords energy this week, heavy on our minds? Looking for those burdens and wanting to release them, because the 10 of Swords would indicate that, and the 9 of Wands would also be that sort of finalizing or coming to an ending, coming to an understanding. And then the Page of Swords is about maybe taking new paths, investigating new alternatives, investigating new options for ourselves, right? So around burdens, where we feel responsible to someone or accountable or obligated to, and it maybe doesn't necessarily sit so well with us. We might want to work on those things this week. Work on how we communicate around those things, how we think about those things, how we hold those things in our life. Because there's an opportunity here to sort of learn a new way, transform that relationship, and be all the wiser and smarter because of that. I hope that makes sense. Let's go to the grounding stone for the week. And the grounding stone is nature. When I see this, I think obviously of the natural world, like trees, plants, animals, that sort of thing. But I also think about our true nature, where we're at, checking in with ourselves, how we fit into our environment, and how that all interacts would be probably key this week. How we perceive our environment, our thoughts, and what we're sort of communicating out through our own personal nature, our own personal viewpoints, our own personal sort of belief systems. Being aware of that and coming into contact with that and grounding in that, right? Grounding in understanding where we fit in our world is going to be sort of important. Our true nature of how we are in our own life. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So to me, it's like looking at us from a more like a more open-minded viewpoint is the feeling that I'm getting from these cards. Allowing ourselves to see ourselves maybe in a different way and adjusting like our true nature or who we are and how we interact, how we perceive, how we carry some of the things, the relationships, the responsibilities in our life. Are we carrying them as a burden, or are they a joy? Right? This is what we want to look at this week, is my feeling, and how we want to maybe shift our perception, letting those things go if they're heavy or cumbersome or if they cause us stress. Does that make sense? I hope that does. That is your forecast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the thumbs up button and share the video out. Subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We'll see how this energy builds throughout this week. Have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.